Shalom, shalom. I want to give honor and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is Deuteronomy 5th chapter. Okay, the secret of the law, and the law was given the second time to the children of Israel because the Israelites rebelled in the wilderness. Okay, and they got destroyed. So the Israelites, they had to get the law the second time. Okay, so they had to receive the law the second time. Okay, right? So let's get into it. Let's go to Deuteronomy 25th chapter. All right, verse 1. Let's get into it. This Deuteronomy 25th and 1. All right. If there be a controversy between men and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Right, meaning the law says we have to judge if it is a controversy, and the Lord said it has to be men are set up to be judges and justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Right, so let's go to Exodus 18:3. Okay, now did Most High send Jethro, okay, to help Moses out? Because Moses was trying to judge all Israel by himself, and that wasn't good. Okay, so Jethro had to give him some counsel all through the Most High. Okay, Most High set that up. Let's go to Exodus 18. Let's start verse 13. This is Exodus 18:13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening, meaning judging from the morning until the evening, like a day shift at work. Moses judging the people. Right, verse 14. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing that thou Slaki doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto evening?" Right, meaning Moses is going to burn himself out, listen to all the petty punishments, the petty problems of all Slaki from all Israel had, and judging all the small matter. Right, verse 15. And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of Yahweh. Verse 16. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of Yahweh and his law. Right, meaning Moses was judging everyone's problems by himself, and his father-in-law didn't like that. Right, verse 17. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. And his father-in-law told him, you can't do all of this by yourself, and you need different people to set things up to get all of that burden off of your shoulders. Right, verse 18. Thou wilt surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Verse 19. Hearken now unto my voice, I will give thee counsel, and Yahweh shall be with thee, but thou for the people to Godward, Slaki, that thou mayest bring the cause unto Yahweh. Verse 20. And thou shalt teach them ordinance and laws, and shall shew them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Right, meaning Moses was set up to teach the people the law, statutes, commandments, and for they can help take on that burden, and for Moses don't have to hear every little cause, and that is why you had men set up. Verse 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Yahweh, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them, to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. Right? Verse 22. And let them judge the people at all seasons, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. Right, meaning the Lord said we can judge the people in all seasons, and if you have a small matter that need to be taken care of, you will have to see the people up under Moses to get it situated. But if you had a greater problem and you had to see Moses, verse 23, if thou shalt do this thing and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. Verse 24. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. Meaning Moses listened to his father-in-law for the advice he had given him. Right? Verse 25. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. 26. And they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged it themselves. Verse 27. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. Right, and that's the real reason that Moses' father-in-law came, because the Lord sent him to set that up. And no, the Lord didn't accept Jethro, and he is not going to be in the kingdom next to Moses, and he is only giving Moses advice. Right, let's go to Numbers. Okay, I want 1 and verse 4. Number 1 and 4. Okay, it's number 1 and 4. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. Verse 5. And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you of the tribes of Reuben. Elizur, Slaki, the son of Shed-Ear, meaning, and the head of the tribe of Reuben, and they were set up to be judges of each tribe. Let's drop down to verse 16. Drop down to verse 16. Okay, these were the renown of the congregation, princes of the tribe of their fathers, heads of thousands in Israel. Right, these were the men, the renown that was set up and well known around the congregation, and they were heads of the thousand of Israel before it got to Moses for the huge matter, and it would go to these men, and it is a ranking position in the troop, captains, officers, soldiers, leaders, and such thing as that. And that is what they had in the ancient world, and it is good to have camps, and you have to have order in this thing. Right, let's go back to Deuteronomy 25. It's Deuteronomy 25 and verse 2. Okay, and it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face, according to his fault, by a certain number right? Meaning, if you bring this man to the judge or whatever crime he has done, and the judge might say this man deserves to be beaten, and he might fight and don't want to take that beating, or he might be humble and take that beating without a problem. Verse 3, 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed less. If he should exceed and beat him above these with the many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. Meaning, you give that man 40 stripes because he didn't want to be excessive and humane, meaning showing compassion to your brother. And 40 stripes is good enough, and that is completion, right? Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 22. Okay. Did Paul get beaten with many stripes? Let's go to it. Okay. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 20, start with 22. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 22. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Verse 23. Are they minister of Mashiach? I speak as a fool. I am more in labor, more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent in the depths often, right? Meaning Paul was getting beat up on measure more than once and twice, because he was worthy of getting beat of the things that he had did, right? Verse 24. Of the Jews 5 times receive I 40 stripes, save one. Verse 25. Twice slunky was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. Twice slunky I suffered a shipwreck at night. At slunky shipwreck a night and a day I have been in the deep, right? Meaning Paul called all kind of hell for the truth, and getting beat for speaking the truth and telling people that they have to repent through Yahushua. And the Pharisees and the Sadducees said that Paul speaking blasphemy, and they beat him 40 stripes and saved one. And that's like Paul got beat up 195 times with a rod, and that's behind doing the work, right? Let's go to Sirach 4 and 28. This is Sirach 4 and 28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. Meaning you have to go hard for the Lord, and have to pray that the Lord put the right word in your mouth when you stand before the nobles of the gate, before they put us to death or whatever our lot may be. And we have to pray that the Lord put the right words in our mouth, right? Let's go to Luke 21:12. Luke 21 and verse 12. It's Luke 21 and verse 12. Okay. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogue and into prisons, of being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake, right? Meaning the Edomites police force or government's army, etc. And the Lord said they are going to put hands on us, and them days are coming in the last days, right? We'll drop down to verse 14. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. And you can be saying, I can't wait to get delivered up, and I'm going to be saying A, B, and C to them, and you have to say the right words. Verse 15, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And when Yahushua said he didn't plan that, and the Most High put that in his spirit to say them few words, and also that is why it was a prophecy that Yahushua would be a lamb, and that is why he didn't say much or couldn't say much, because he was sacrificed as a lamb that does not resist, and he's not going to buck up and willing to get put to death. And that's why Yahushua didn't say too much when you read these accounts, right? Let's go to Acts 7 and 52. Acts 7 and 50. Acts 7 and 52. Bear with me. Okay, this is Acts 7:52. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted, and they have slain them which shewed it before the coming of the just one, of whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers, right? Meaning all the prophets got persecuted, and just like Yahushua and all the apostles did get persecuted by the people, and we will as well. 53. Who have received the law by the disposition of angels, and have not kept it. 54. When they heard these things, they were cut to the heart, and they gnashed it on him with their teeth. Right, meaning, and they can't stand what the Lord is going to put in their mouth in that day, and they were cut to the heart when they heard that. Right, verse 55. But he, being full of the Holy Ghost, looked it up steadfastly into heaven, and saw the glory of Yahweh, and Yahushua standing on the right hand of Yahweh. Meaning, and after he did that, he looked it up and saw the glory of the third heaven and the glory of the Lord, and then he given up the ghost for the word. And also when we are locked it up, it's like we have to pray to the Most High and get your faith up, and some men will be crying as well, right? Let's go to Isaiah 54 and 17. Isaiah 54 and 17. No weapons that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. Right, meaning, and that is your lot. If you are the servant of the Lord, and you out there doing the work, and you're not going to get confounded by Esau in the last days, and you can't be in a FEMA camp and Esau confounding you, and you don't know what to say and shaking in your boots, but you're going to be bold and confident in those days, and you are going to condemn them because it is part of your heritage, right? Let's go to Jeremiah, all right, 51, and I want verse 17. Jeremiah 51 and 17. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. No breath in them. Meaning anyone that is servant of the gods, that they don't have any hope, and it is false, and don't have any life in them, and them men are going to be confounded. Verse 18. They are vanity, the work of arrows, arrows, sluggy, in the time of their visitation, they shall perish. Right, vanity, meaning they are worthless. Right, verse 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Sluggy. The Lord of hosts is his name, meaning the Lord is our portion, and Israel don't worship a rock or stone or false prophet, false image, and we don't worship the stars and the moon or Esau that raped his sister and killed his brother and died from AIDS, and we serve the true living God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the Most High is the former of all things, and the everlasting, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Right? Let's go to Revelation 6 and 9. Revelation 6 and verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony which they held. Meaning you believe that you are Israel and you keep the commandments and you want to serve the Lord and stand boldly for Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Right? Verse 10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Right, meaning we are being enslaved unjustly because we want to serve our God, and that is why they are confounded from what we have read, because they worship false gods. Right, verse 11. And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Meaning, and we have to get prepared in our mind to get put to death in the last days for my brethren and for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And we have to believe inward that we are Israelite, because we have to have faith and be strong in the last days with our faith, and your heart has to be with the Most High to walk with this thing. Right. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 2 and 40. 2nd Esdras 2 and 40. This is 2nd Esdras 2 and 40. Okay. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. Right? 41. The number of thy children, of whom thou longest for, is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed. Right, meaning the 144,000, and it was people set up from the beginning to come back to the Most High, and everything you went through in your 20s and 30s, 40s in your life to come into this truth. Right, 42. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. Esdras saw the 144,000. Okay. 43. And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. Right. meaning Yahushua. Okay, right, 44. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? 45. He answered it and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh. Now are they crowned and received palm. They confessed the name of Yahweh, right? 46. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowned them and giveth them palms in their hands? 47. So he answered it and said unto me, It is the Son of Yahweh, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Right, meaning because they stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord, and meaning they didn't let any of their parents or sister or brother to get them to celebrate them pagan holidays or go to a club doing wicked things. And instead you keep reading, looking at the breakdowns, and the Lord saying I want them in, and he will send a test and see if you will move and go, hey, slacky with your family and do all of them wicked things. And those men stood still and never moved because the name of the Lord. Right, let's go to 2 Thessalonians. All right, I want 2 verse 1. The 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 1. Okay. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and by our gathering together unto him. Verse 2. That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Mashiach is at hand. Meaning you can be shook up and scared in the last days, because trying to get the kingdom in the last days, and we are going to go through hell in the last days and get tried it. Right, let's go Acts 20 verse, start at 22. Acts 20 and 22. And now behold, I go bound in the spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there. Right, meaning they wanted to kill Paul, and they wanted Paul dead or alive, pretty much. And if he would pop up in Jerusalem, they would have put him to death. And he had to go to Jerusalem because the Lord told him to go there. Right, verse 23. Save that the Holy Ghost witnessed it, Snaki, in every city, saying that the bonds and affliction abide me. Verse 24. But none of these things move me, neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy, and the ministry which I have received of the Lord Yahushua, to testify the gospel of the grace of Yahweh. Right, meaning Paul is saying, I know I might get put to death if I go to Jerusalem, but none of these things doesn't matter, because none of these things move me, and I'm not shaken by you, and none of these things move me. And Paul wasn't afraid of getting beat up or put to death for the Lord, and he was still laboring in them cities, meaning Paul didn't care about his life, and he cared about the Lord, and that is a deep level. being in this truth, and your life belong to the Lord, right? Verse 25. And now behold, I know that ye all among whom I have gone preaching the kingdom of Yahweh shall see my face no more, right? Verse 26. Wherefore I take you to record this day that I am pure from the blood of all men. Meaning I told you, and the blood is off my hands, and I told you everything I'm supposed to tell you. And Paul told them the whole gospel, and you want to be clean from the blood of all men, right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy 25 and verse 3. This is Deuteronomy 25 verse 3. 40 stripes that he may give him, and not exceed less. Like if he should exceed and beat him above these with the many stripes, then thy brother should seem a vow unto thee. Meaning, if there is a case of judgment and the brother has to get beaten, and you have to have the so-called humane practices, and you can treat your brother vile and ripping off his skin or torturing him, etc., like Esau would do, right? Verse 4, thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treaded out the corn. Meaning, if your ox out there doing the labor, and the ox will want to eat some of the corn while he is laboring, and let him eat because he is working, and don't put a muzzle on him, for he don't have to starve while he is working. So don't muzzle your ox when he is working. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 9:3. It's 1 Corinthians 9:3, okay? My answer to them that it's like read again. My answer to them that do examine me is this, right? Meaning they were getting on Paul, and the church of Corinth was off, and you had men that was questioning Paul, and Paul was out there doing the work. And when you out there laboring, you need financial and material things to minister, and you may labor. You might need money, sandals, garments, and etc. And he needed the church of Corinth to help him out, right? Verse 4. Have we not power to eat and to drink? Yes, we have power to eat and drink. Verse 5. Verse 5. Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Lord, and Cephas? It's like verse 6. Or I only, and Barnabas, like have not we a power to forbear working? Right, verse 7. Who goaded a warfare any time at his own charges? Who planted a vineyard and eated not of the fruit thereof? Or who feeded a flock and eated not of the milk of the flock? Meaning, anyone planted a vineyard, and you are going to eat the fruit thereof, and you want to eat the fruit of your own labor, and not planting a garden for the animals, just come eat it. And if you have flocks and they are producing milk, and you shall want to receive the benefit of having flocks, whether it is milk or clothes or whatever the case may be, or meat, right? Verse 8. Say I these things as a man, or or said not the law the same also? Meaning now Paul is about to quote the law that we read in Deuteronomy 25 chapter, the benefit of him and the apostles. Verse 9, for it is written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. Do Yahweh take care of oxen? Meaning, if a oxen or cattle out there doing the work and eating the grass, and let them eat and work, and that is the fruit of their labor, right? Verse 10, bear with me. Verse 10, or said he it altogether for our sakes, no doubt this is written, that he that ploweth should plow in hope, and that he that threshed it in hope should be partakers of his hope, right? Meaning it is talking about the law and the oxen, and also it is talking about the spiritual oxen, and that's Israel in the last days, and we are the workers in the vineyards, and that is double fold, and that is not actual oxen working and chewing the grass, and we are the oxen. And before we didn't know who our master crib was, and when we were oxen, and the law is for us, right? Verse 11, if we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? Right, meaning they might need a place to stay or food, and Paul and Barnabas and the other apostles out there doing the work, and they couldn't order a pizza, and they were just out there, and the church of Corinth should have been able to take care of them and let them eat and sleep at their homes, and giving them garments, and Paul is giving them spiritual things, and the people should give him carnal things, right? Let's go to 1 Timothy. This 1 Timothy 5:18. For the scripture said, thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the labor is worthy of his reward. Right, meaning the reward for that oxen is that corn he gets to eat, and the labor for us to get is whatever the Lord wants to give you, such as carnal things, a garment or hand warmers or soup when it is cold, and you never know what the Lord can do for you, and that is a reward right there, right? Let's go to Romans, 15 and 24. This is Romans 15 and 24. Whensoever I take up my journey into Spain, I will come to you, for I trust to see you in my journey, and to be brought on my way thitherward by you, if first I be somewhat filled with your company. Right? Meaning Paul went to Spain, and it was Israelites there. 25. But now I go unto Jerusalem to minister unto the saints. Meaning now he has to travel to Jerusalem, and he is writing to his brethren about his trip to Spain and Jerusalem. And Paul wasn't rich, and he left all his worldly things behind to serve the Most High. Verse 26. For it had pleased them, Macedonia and Achaia, to make a certain contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem. Right, meaning you had a poor collection, and you had brothers that was poor in one city, and he taking collection of money, and he is going to take it to Jerusalem to the brethren that are poor, and they didn't want to do that for Paul in Corinth, and they were like no like, no, we are not helping out, and you get it on your own, right? Verse 27. It had pleased them fairly, and their debtors they are for. If the Gentiles have been made partakers of their spiritual things, their duty is also to minister unto them in carnal things, right? Meaning Paul broke down the word and have given spiritual things to the church, and you have to help them out, because we have to travel and do A, B, and C, and they might need some money or a place to sleep, right? Let's go to Matthew 10 and 9. This is Matthew 10 and 9. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, verse 10, nor scribe, for your journey, neither 2 coats, and neither shoes, nor yet staffs, for the workman is worthy of his meat, right? Meaning you deserve for the people to take care of you when you are traveling, and when they travel, it's cold out there, so people has to be kind to his brethren and help them prophets out when they are traveling and pushing the word, right? Let's go to Matthew 6. Start with verse 26. Okay. Behold, this Matthew 6 and 26. Behold the fowl of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than them? Than they. 27. Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature? 28. And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. 29. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Verse 30. Wherefore, if Yahweh so clothed the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Meaning the Lord does all these small things for these small and insignificant objects and animals, and how much will he do for you times 7 or 10? And the Lord always find a way to look out with gifts, okay? And that's riches for your labor when the Most High give you gifts when you out there teaching the word and bringing you water, making posters, etc., right? Let's go to Jonah 4 and 6. This is Jonah 4 and 6. And the Lord Yahweh prepared it a gourd, and made it to come up over Jonah, that it might be a shadow over his head, to deliver him from his grief. So Jonah was exceedingly glad of the gourd, right? Meaning Jonah was out there and it was hot, and the Most High made this plant to grow up, and Jonah was exceedingly glad of the gourd because it was hot out there, and the Lord made this plant grow up to be a shadow of Jonah, and he was a prophet and was doing the work. Verse 7. But Yahweh prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day, and it smote the gourd that it withered it. It's like verse 8. And it came to pass when the sun did arise that Yahweh prepared a vehement, it's like an east wind, and the sun beat upon the heart of Jonah, that he fainted and wished it in himself to die, and said, it is better for me to die than to live. Right? Meaning the Most High can judge you or take care of you, and he can have you to faint out there, but the point is the Most High is going to provide for you. Right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy 25 chapter. And verse, start with 4. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. Verse 5. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband or brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband brother unto her. Right? Meaning, if your brother die and the wife can't go marry another man outside the near kin of her husband, and she has to get down with it, and he could be an old fat man or a young man in his 20s, but the point is you have to raise seed unto your brother, and the purpose is to bring him back on the earth, because you are the near kin to him. Right? Verse 6. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. Meaning regeneration for him to come back on the earth. And if this didn't get done, and his name will be put out, so the brother has to raise up seed for his brother through his son, etc., and one of them sons will be your brother back on the earth, and all the inheritance that you have got to go to him. And that's why them brothers in the ancient world didn't want to do this and raise up seed unto his brother wife, and all of your wealth and possession will leave your bloodline, and it will go to that brother. And now you don't really have much, but you did it for your brother, even though you are losing your inheritance, and you're not leaving it to your own son, but it is the law. Right? Verse 7. And it's like, and if the man like not to take his brother wife, then let his brother wife go up to the gate unto the elders, and say, my husband brother refused to raise up unto him, unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband brother. Let's go. Let's go to Ruth 4:1. That's Ruth 4:1. Okay. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, how such as one turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. Meaning this defer back to Ruth, the 3 and 12 chapter. All right, the chapter where Boaz was saying that he couldn't do it because he had a kin that is closer to him. who died. So we have to go to him, and if he won't do it, then Boaz will do it. All right, verse 2. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And they sat down. Verse 3. And he said unto the kinsman Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, sold it a parcel of land which was our brother's Elimelech, verse 4. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know. For there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. Verse 5. Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. Right? Again, this also mentioned in the Leviticus, the 25th chapter. All right, 24, 25, 26. All right, when you had a man to redeem his land as well, and of the process of redeem this land, and he has to raise up seed to Ruth as well that came with it. Right? Let's go to Genesis 38. This journey, Genesis 38:2. And Judah saw that there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went in unto her. Right, verse 3. And she conceived it and bare a son, and he called it his name Verse 4. And she conceived it again and bare a son, and she called it his name Onan. Verse 5. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezeb, when she bare him. Verse 6. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. Right? Judah brought this daughter for his son. Verse 7. And Judah firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. Was wicked, and the Lord slew him. Verse 8. And Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And they already knew about the law, about you have to go unto your brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to your brother before Moses implement the law. And the law you read about was already kept, but they were not written, and that is why they knew about the law in Deuteronomy 25th chapter. Right? Verse 9. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilt it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. Right? Onan didn't want to raise seed to his brother, and he went unto his brother's wife and spilt it on the ground, and the Lord killed him for not wanting to raise seed unto his brother. Right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy 25 chapter. And verse 8. 25 and 8. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him, and if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her. Now they are questioning the man, because the word is out that you don't want to raise up seed to your brother that just passed it, and he can't tell the elders that she was lying on him and he want to do it now, or he can say, no, I'm not dealing with my brother's wife. And now the elders are talking, right? Verse 9, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. So if you don't raise up kids unto your brother's wife, and she can take you to the elders and loosen up the brother's shoe off his feet and spit in his face, and he will have a bad name in Israel, because the man didn't want to raise up kids unto his brother's wife to bring his brother back on the earth, and you hate your nation, right? Let's go back to Ruth 4 and 6. This is Ruth 4 and verse 6, okay? And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I more my own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem for I cannot redeem it. That's being selfish. I don't want to do this and more my own inheritance, and he don't want to raise up his brother's kids and give up his inheritance for his brother's kids, right? Verse 7. Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing, for to confirm all things, a man plucked it off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. Verse 8, and therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe, and it was no one there to spit in his face, and you could not have a Moabite spitting in an Israelite face, and that is all. But he drew off his shoe, meaning I can't do this. He can't raise up his brother's kid, and that's a physical. And that's a physical right from a transaction your property rights to another man by taking off that shoe if they don't deal with it, right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy 25 and 10. This is Deuteronomy 25 and verse 10. And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that had his shoe loosened it. Meaning that is his new name now, the house of loose shoe, because he didn't want to raise up his brother's seed. Also, when a brother don't raise up his brother's seed, and the brother will come back in the third, fourth generation, and he might come back in the fourth generation instead of the third. Verse 11. When men strive together one with another, and the wife of the one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smited him, and put it forth her hand, and take it him by the secret right? Meaning, and putting forth her hand and taking him by the secret, meaning his private parts. And if me and a brother start fighting and she tried to break it up and she happened to touch that man's private parts and her hand get cut off, right? Verse 12. Then thou shalt cut off her hand, thy eye shall not pity her. And the Lord said, cut her hand off, and she should not get in between two men fighting, right? Verse 13. Bear with me. Verse 13, thou shalt not have in thy bag divers weights, a great and a small, meaning you have to have a just balance with things in your bag, diverse weight, great or small, and everything need to be even. Let's go to Proverbs 11 and 1. Okay, let's go to the classic. It's Proverbs 11 and 1. It's like a false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Right, meaning you using your brother and getting over on him by selling him something that worth 20 shekels, but he is only getting 2 shekels worth. And Israel is known for cheating someone in the world and trying to get over on someone. And even the bag of chips are not full when you pay $1 for them, right? Let's go to Amos 8 and 5. Let's start with verse 4. All right, this is Amos 8 and 4. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail. Verse 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath that we may set forth wheat, making the ever small, and the shekel great, and falsifying the balance by deceit. Right, meaning they would rig up scales to balance, and when you put your shekels on it, and it should be an even weight. But if you falsify the balance and the shekel is worth 75, but you're rigging it up to pay more than it is worth, and that's a diverse measure and a false balance, right? Go back to Deuteronomy 25 and verse 14. Thou shalt not have in thy house divers measures, a great and a small. Verse 15. But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure shalt thou have, that thy day may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy Yahweh giveth thee. Meaning we have to be a just balance in the truth as well, and a just balance in everything. And you can study all day and don't get any sleep, or study all day and not spending time with your family. And everything has to be a just balance in this thing, and it has to be even balanced, right? Let's go to Proverbs 16 verse 1. It's like it. Let's go to 16 and verse 11. It's Proverbs 16:11. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his works. Right, meaning the Lord is a just balance, and everything he do is a just balance. And that goes in on the song. It's like a song of the three holy children, and the punishment we are getting is just, and it is just that we have to be in the hand of the Edomites and the sins and transgression we have done, and this a fitting punishment in the eyes of the Lord, and all of the captivity as well, and everything is balanced out in the world, right? Let's go Isaiah 40 and 12. This is Isaiah 40:12. Who had measured the waters and the hollows of his hand, and met it. It's like he met it. It's like he out heaven with the span, and comprehend the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed it the mountains and scales, and and the hills in a balance. It's like hills in a balance, right? Meaning the measurement in heaven, or perfectly the third heaven, how big it is and how tall the angels are, and everything is perfect with the Most High and no mistakes. And span is what you measure things with, and the mountains has to weigh just enough to not sink down the earth, and hills just have to weigh enough just not to tip over and be the balance of the earth. And everything has to be weighed in the balance, and the Lord made everything perfectly in its time. And it tells you that in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy 25 verse 17. Okay, Deuteronomy 25:17. Remember what Elimelech did unto thee by the way when ye were come forth out of Egypt. Let's go to it. Let's go to Esther 17:6. Okay. Because the Most High told us to remember what Elimelech did to us. All right. And we got to remember this and not be their friend, because they the damn enemy. All right. This is Exodus 17 and verse 6. Oh, bear with me. Exodus 17 and verse 6. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so, and Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. Verse 7. And he called it the name of the place Massa, and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not? Right? Verse 8. Then came Elimelech and fought with Israel, and rammed them. Verse 9. And Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out men, and go out, fight with Elimelech tomorrow. I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of Yahweh in my hand. 10. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Elimelech. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. Verse 11. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed it, and when he let down his hand, Elimelech prevailed it. Right, meaning Moses held it up his hand with the staff, and we prevailed it. And if Moses' hand go down, then Elimelech will prevail. Right? Verse 12. But Moses' hand were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed it up his hand, the one on the one side, and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady unto the going down of the suns. Aaron and Hur is keeping Moses' hands up until the sun go down. Verse 13. And Joshua discomforted Elimelech and his people with the edge of the sword. Joshua was putting Elimelech to death. 14. And the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance, of Elimelech from under heaven. Right. We have to remember that the Lord will utterly put out the remembrance of Elimelech from under heaven. Verse 15, and Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. Verse 16, for he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Elimelech from generation to generation. And the Lord said we would have war with Elimelech from generation to generation. And sometimes they get the upper hand, and then sometimes David get the upper hand, and sometimes they get the upper hand, and sometimes Solomon get the upper hand. And now in the last day we are going to get the upper hand at the end. So you have to remember what Elimelech did to you, or you are going to be their friends or in a relationship with them, or forget about what they have done to you, and they came out to kill all of us. Right? Let's go to Numbers 24 and 18. Let's stay on Elimelech. This is Numbers 24 and 18. Okay, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Right? The Most High prophesies that the Edomites will be a slave from the beginning, and the Lord said they are going to be a possession, and we are going to take over their land. Verse 19, out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. Verse 20, and when he looked it on Elimelech, he took up his parable and said, Elimelech was the first of the nation, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Meaning Elimelech was the first of the nation, but he will perish forever. Right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Okay. Deuteronomy 25, chapter 25 and verse 18. How he met, Deuteronomy 25:18. How he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not Yahweh. Right? Elimelech snuck up from behind us and tried to take the weary out, and that is what Satan do. And it tells you in 1 Peter 5 and 8 chapter, your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walked it about, seeking whom he may devour. And lions always go for the weak, that is lagging behind, easy prey. And that is why we know them Edomites are the devil, and he didn't go to the strong and mighty, but the weak and the back. Right? Verse 19, therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy Yahweh have given thee rest from all thy enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy Yahweh giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Elimelech from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. Right? The Lord said we should not forget it. We are going to smite Elimelech from under heaven, and we shall not forget it, and it's not going to be no more Edomites on the earth in those days after the 1,000 years of slavery. Let's go to Obadiah. Okay, 1 and 18. This is Obadiah 1:18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Right? Them Edomites are going to be destroyed and no more again on this earth, and never come back. And never coming back. Let's go to Job 20:4. Job 20:4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed it upon the earth, upon earth? Verse 5, that the trumping of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Right, meaning it just seems like Esau is ruling for a long time, but he is not, and we are going to be living forever. Verse 6, though his excellency amount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the cloud. Verse 7, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? It's like, where is he? Right, meaning after 1,000 years, them other nations are going to be asking, where are them Edomites? And we might laugh or not saying any, or not say anything according to the Lord. Right. Let's go to Proverbs 11:10. It's Proverbs 11:10. Okay, when it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoice, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. Right, meaning we are going to be shouting when the wicked perish in that day and turning up. Right. Let's go to Revelation 20:7. It's Revelation 20:7. Okay, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Verse 8, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Verse 9, and they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them. Verse 10, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Right, verse 11, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. Right, meaning it's not going to be a place for them Edomites ever again on this earth. Right, so whoever new to the channel, when they say Edomites, it's talking about the so-called white people. Okay. All right. Right. It's talking about them for 1,000 years. All right. So this is for the ones that are new to the channel. All right. It's the so-called white man, Edomites. Right. Let's go to Wisdom of Sodom 2, and let's start verse 2. Okay. Wisdom of Sodom 2, verse 2. This was Psalm 2:2. For we are born at all adventures, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart. Verse 3, which being extinguished it, our bodies shall be turned into ashes, and our spirits shall vanish as the soft air. Right? Verse 4, and our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our work in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. Right, meaning them Edomites are going to vanish away. Right, let's go Psalms 95. Psalms 95. This is Psalm 9 and verse 5. Okay. Thou hast rebuked the heathen, thou hast destroyed the wicked, thou hast put out their names forever and ever, meaning rebuking the heathen and destroying the wicked and putting out them Edomites' name forever and ever in the last days. Right. So that's Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter, all right? So I want to give honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Shalom.